We're at the WWE 2K14, I guess, I don't know, it's not the release party, but it's the announcement of 30 years of WrestleMania, but we're here with Daniel Bryan. Daniel, what's the haps?
Not much, man. I'm just hanging out at this incredible event, right? Isn't this awesome?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, they got, like, posters of every wrestler you can imagine everywhere, and you're on stage with Dolph Ziggler and Rey Mysterio, but then Paul Heyman, then Mick Foley, then Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then Ric Flair is just holding court. What's that like for you?
It's surreal because those guys are obviously legends in our industry, and even somebody like Rey Mysterio, who I've been able to wrestle, he's one of the guys who got me inspired to be a wrestler, who made me think, hey, I can actually do this, because he wasn't big, and he went out there and was very successful. So, but being up there with Steve Austin and Ric Flair especially, like, who would have thought that I'd be up there with those guys? It was cool.
And you're just sitting there listening, like, all right, you guys got it.
Yeah.
You strike me as a guy who's like, not about being famous necessarily. Like, that's not your, say, goal. How much has life changed since all at the same time you become a reality TV star and you're in the main event of the second biggest show of the year?
Yeah, so not only did I never aspire to be famous, I never wanted to be famous.
Specifically,
and so,
you didn't want to be.
Yeah, and that's actually when I started wrestling, I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wrestle in Japan for most of my career, and that way I can go over there, and if I'm famous over there, that's fine, because then I can come home and be here. But here's the key. When I'm done doing all this, I just shave all this off, I shave all this off, nobody knows who I am, I can just go back to being a farmer. So
there'll be 200 Ring of Honor fans that recognize you, and beyond that, that's it.
Right.
That's a great strategy going in. Like, I never even, because how long have you been letting your hair grow?
Okay, so,
because I talked to you like probably 2.5 years ago,
Yeah.
and that's when you first started growing the beard out, but that was when you were just like, whatever, I'm just going to grow the beard out until somebody notices me.
Right, yeah, and then I had to trim it a little bit,
Right.
and I think I started maybe around SummerSlam last year is kind of when I started growing it, and I trimmed it a couple times, but then there was a point during this year where I was just like, nope, all out.
And that was your call?
All out, yep, that was my call.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What do you think? You know, they're talking about the performance center that they built. And I've been thinking a lot about this because there seems to be a lot of focus on taking guys who are either from the NFL or from another sport or bodybuilders or whoever you are. And that's how guys like someone like John Cena or The Rock started, guys with not a lot of wrestling experience, and teaching them to be WWE superstars. What do you think about that approach versus guys like you and Punk who came up on the indies and entered into the WWE?
Well, it's interesting because you can't teach passion, right? And so, regardless of whether they started in football or whether they started on the independents, if you have passion for this, that's what it takes. So John Cena, regardless of where he started, and he's been a wrestling fan since he was a kid, he has passion for this. The Rock had passion for this, right? Steve Austin had passion for this. Me and CM Punk have passion for this. I've met plenty of independent wrestlers who have spent a long time on the indies who do it trying to get famous and not because they have a passion for it. And so, but that's really what it takes. And it doesn't matter if they started out as wrestling fans or not. If you start doing this and you love it, you get the itch for it. And so anybody has the opportunity to be a WWE superstar.
Did you ever think about changing your style to adapt more to WWE's style? Because now you've just kind of infused your style into their TV as opposed to the other way around.
Well, it's interesting when people talk to me about styles because everywhere I've gone, I've had to change my style. Like, I couldn't wrestle in Ring of Honor like I did in Japan. I couldn't wrestle in Europe like I did in Mexico, like all that kind of stuff. So it's just about adapting to where you are and knowing what that fan base wants. And even for us, what the fan base wants is different in different places. And it's knowing that, and it's going out there.
And you're aware of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And you can tell, especially, I'm a big believer in watching all the matches that come before you, and you see what the people are reacting to. We were in Taiwan, and people were trying to go out there. We had just been in Japan. The Japan fans loved the wrestling. They loved all the wrestling parts. Guys tried to go out there and do that in Taiwan, and it wasn't working. I went out there and did a bunch of this. They loved it.
Because any language, that makes
right,
sense.
yeah.
All right, well, appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit. I'm glad you're in the game.
Yeah,
But,
I'm so excited.
Is it weird to be in a video game?
It's weird to be in a video game, but it's even weirder that
Oh
I've
my
been
God.
that I have been put on the fans. They did a competition where fans got to design the inside cover. So these are what the fans designed. Both of them, this one's for the United States, this one's for international. Both of them involve Daniel Bryan, and they could have picked any WWE superstar, and it's this guy. How weird is that?
Well, whether you like it or not, you're famous, dude.
Mildly famous. I just want to keep that low-level celebrity, and then all this comes off, and you'll never see me again.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, man.